While many knew about the case against a British Army veteran, Vice President JD Vance brought it to the world's attention again in a speech to the Munich Security Conference.
A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own.
When Adam Smith Connor was approached by police officers, they asked, "What is the nature of your prayer today?"
What is the nature of that? I'm praying for my son.
Making the charge against him what many are calling a thought crime. We met Smith Connor at a church in Southampton, England, where he told us of a terrible dream that led him into the pro-life movement, a dream in which he was butchering a baby.
I was carving up this baby as if I was carving up the Sunday roast. I didn't have any sense of guilt or anything. It was no feeling of anything as I was doing this. When I woke up, it was like a nightmare in reverse. So what horrified me was that I'd carved up this child who I knew it was my son, and it horrified me that I hadn't felt anything as I did it. And over the following days, I came to realize it related to an abortion that I'd paid for 2 decades earlier. That abortion hadn't even crossed my mind, but God knew that that was sitting on my conscience and knew that I wasn't going to figure it out for myself, that needed to be cleansed. So I feel that he gave me that vision, that dream, to wake me up to what had happened.
Adam began to go to abortion clinics to pray for his son and would eventually be charged for it.
They asked me to leave the area. I declined because I don't think that prayer can ever be considered a criminal act or illegal. I was out of line of sight from the clinic behind a tree, and I didn't look at anyone, I didn't approach anyone, I didn't speak to anyone.
The United Kingdom's new buffer zone law makes it illegal for anyone to do anything that intentionally or recklessly influences someone's decision to use abortion services. The law will apply within a 150-meter radius of the abortion service provider.
By using a word like influence, it's very unclear what the law means.
Lois McClatchy Miller with Alliance Defending Freedom International says the government's use of the word influence has created a very broad law that could potentially be used against private conversations, as well as a person's thoughts and prayers.
But what about a mother asking her daughter, "Are you sure?" Is that influence? What about a friend who's offering support to a woman who's considering continuing her pregnancy? Is that influence?
A 63-year-old retired medical scientist from Bournemouth, England, was also put on trial for standing near an abortion clinic and holding up a sign reading, "Here to talk if you want," and talking to women who approached her.
So what are you up to today, sorry?
I'm praying.
You're praying?
Yes.
Okay.
In Scotland, this letter sent to citizens warns that anyone living within an abortion clinic buffer zone could violate the law while inside their own homes. Some think it could include praying near a window if a woman seeking an abortion walks by. Smith Connor said he's grateful Vice President Vance defended him before world leaders. Adam Smith Connor is a British Army vet who risked his life in Afghanistan for the cause of freedom, only to return home to be convicted of a thought crime. Smith Connor said he thinks about the personal price he paid and how a close friend gave his life to protect the very rights that now have been taken away by his government.
I've got a profound sense of sadness for our nation. The fact that we have plummeted to such a depth so quickly. I believe in the Bible and what the Bible says, and I lived that out in my life. And the fact that I'm now convicted for doing that, I think, is quite shocking. And the absurdity of a trial for the contents of your mind, the contents of your prayers, just has no place in a liberal, free, democratic society, and yet here we are.
An appeal of Adam's conviction has been set for July. Dale Hurd, CBN News in Southampton, England.